Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
21 years after it was established through an Act of Parliament in 2000 to bring about rapid development of the Niger Delta and douse tension in the region, what is the scorecard of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC? There are visible improvements in the operations of the Commission since it came under the scrutiny of the Buhari administration in October 2019. The following documentary offers answers to these and other pertinent questions on operations of the NDDC since its inception in 2001.
The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, was established by an Act of Parliament in 2000 with a mandate to offer a lasting solution to the socio-economic difficulties of the Niger Delta region and to facilitate the rapid and sustainable development of the Niger Delta into a region that is economically prosperous, socially stable, ecologically regenerative, and politically peaceful. As clearly spelled out in the Part 2 of its Establishment Act, the NDDC was created to alleviate the plight of the largely impoverished oil-producing communities by carrying out the following functions: undertake an environmental survey of the region and tackle ecological problems, address health problems arising from severe hydrocarbon pollutions, provide critical infrastructure to promote development, invest in human capital development programs such as scholarships and vocational trainings, promote rapid industrialization of the region, address political tension and other forms of insecurity bedeviling the Niger Delta, and produce a regional development master plan as a working document. Establishment of the NDDC followed agitations for social justice by aggrieved elements whose activities created an atmosphere of insecurity in a region faced with an age-long crisis of underdevelopment. Prior to Nigeria's independence in 1960, the Willings Commission, upon carrying out an extensive study on the region's backwardness, had in 1958 issued a report describing it as a neglected and backward region in need of special attention and rapid development. The Willings Commission report gave birth to the Niger Delta Development Board, NDDB, which commenced operations in July 1959. Following the disbandment of the NDDB in the First Republic, the federal government in 1992 set up the Oil Minerals Producing Areas Development Commission, OMPADEC, to carry out the uphill task of changing an existing ugly narrative in the region. Like its predecessor, OMPADEC's operations were largely characterized by administrative inefficiency and endemic corruption. It was to avoid a repeat of previous shortcomings in the system that the Obasanjo administration made conscious efforts to inject new blood into top management and key administrative positions of the NDDC at its inception in 2001. Establishment of the NDDC by the government of President Olusegun Obasanjo was greeted with high expectations in the Niger Delta, as it was generally viewed as an agent of social change in the Niger Delta. Much to the relief of Nigeria's troubled oil-producing communities, the NDDC made commendable efforts to improve the lots of long-neglected communities with the initiation and execution of some life-transforming projects and programs in the Niger Delta. Some of the big-ticket projects undertaken to develop infrastructure include canalization of rivers to ease marine transportation, land reclamation and shoreline protection. Others are rural electrification and road construction projects. Perhaps the impact of the NDDC is felt most in its road construction projects, through which hitherto isolated coastal communities have been directly linked to major towns and cities across the Niger Delta. One of such projects is the 29-kilometer Ogbia-Nembe Road project in Bayelsa State. The Ogbia-Nembe Road construction project undertaken by the NDDC in partnership with Shell Petroleum Development Company and counterpart funding by the government of Bayelsa State, traverses 14 neighboring communities where commerce and communication have been greatly enhanced since it was completed and subsequently commissioned in July 2019. As part of efforts to make the entire Niger Delta motorable, the NDDC has built several internal roads and has rehabilitated failed sections of existing roads in rural and urban communities across the region.
If not for NDDC, I don't know how the condition of this area would have been, because we know what we went through. NDDC has done a lot. And if you go to other areas like Apambabeke, there's a place we call Apambabeke, NDDC has actually done a good job there too. So, but there's one particular road at Sabat Road before the slaughter. That road has not been done, but they have pinned a signboard on that very place, but the road has not been done. So we're expecting the contractor to come.
In its bid to improve quality of life in the Niger Delta, the NDDC had in the recent past implemented its free healthcare delivery program to benefit vulnerable communities in the region. Through its health mission, the NDDC has sufficiently addressed several medical cases plaguing vulnerable communities in the Niger Delta at no cost. Over the years, NDDC has been at the forefront of promoting academic excellence in the Niger Delta. Right now, no fewer than 100,000 Niger Deltans have benefited from its undergraduate and postgraduate scholarship programs. Additionally, the NDDC has built several hostels for Nigerian universities domiciled in the Niger Delta with the objective to create an atmosphere that aids learning in the ivory towers. The NDDC is also credited with the building and renovation of classroom blocks in primary and secondary schools across the Niger Delta. In Archdeacon Crowder Memorial Girls' School, situated at Elelenwo in Ubiakbo local government area of Rivers State, the Commission a few years ago donated science equipment to furnish the school's laboratory and donated dozens of desktops to facilitate learning.
Part of other things that were donated is this giant skeleton. We have this other sonometer. We have the lab stool. We have fans that were donated to us. Stove was donated. Likewise, we have a lab coat that was donated to us.
As part of its intervention in this school, the NDDC built internal roads to enhance its aesthetic appeal.
We see NDDC as friends of this school. NDDC has done so much in the years past. We are like Oliver Twist. We think that NDDC can do a lot more for a school such as this.
In its determination to make a difference in the lives of communities in the Niger Delta region, the NDDC has embarked on several other laudable projects in agriculture and economic empowerment. Admittedly, a sizable number of otherwise laudable projects initiated by the NDDC were never completed, as they were either stalled or abandoned. Over the years, this development had impacted negatively on the Commission's service delivery, prompting disenchanted Niger Deltans to demand reforms in the system. At the vanguard of the campaign for institutional reforms in the NDDC were governors of 9 states comprising the Niger Delta region. In October 2019, Niger Delta governors led by former governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Henry Seriake Dixon, met with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa, where they called for an immediate action to sanitize the NDDC.
And we are pleased with Mr. President's understanding of the challenges and the issues in and about that commission, which he has promised to address, and we are happy about that.
In response to what he considered a clarion call, President Buhari in October 2019 ordered a forensic audit of NDDC activities from its inception in 2001 to September 2019. Mr. President's move to reform the NDDC was inspired by a sense of urgency to strengthen the commission and reposition it to begin to meet the yearnings and aspirations of largely backward oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta.
We have asked for a forensic audit of what has been happening, because the amount of money which the federal government is religiously allocating to NDDC, we would like to see the results on the ground, and those that are responsible for that, I think, will eventually be asked to explain certain issues. The project must be verifiable. I mean, you just can't say you spend so many billions and then when you go, it's only the lagoon you see, and so you don't see the structures that are claimed to have been done. They also use consultants, so the consultants must prove to be they were competent.
At a federal executive meeting presided over by President Buhari in August last year, the sum of 722.3 million naira was approved for 8 field forensic auditors after an approval of their appointment to undertake a forensic audit of NDDC operations in a period of 19 years. This was in addition to 300 million naira approved earlier for lead forensic auditors who were engaged sometime in March last year to scrutinize records of the commission at its corporate headquarters in Port Harcourt. On completion of their assignment, the lead forensic auditors have already sent a preliminary report to the presidency, while the field forensic auditors are at a conclusion stage of their investigation. The outcome of this all-important exercise is expected to provide the roadmap for a better managed NDDC that is fully equipped to discharge its statutory obligations to communities in the Niger Delta.
I am one of those, along with the Niger Delta people, clamoring for the outcome of the forensic audit. We need it so that we know how many contractors were paid and they didn't complete their project, or how many contractors were not paid. Forensic audit is the way out. The contractors who have been paid and they have not done their project should be asked to go back to site instead of causing the hardship that people are passing through abandonment of projects.
I am appealing to the government to ensure that the forensic audit is total and return the contractors to complete the jobs. It will save all of us a lot of stress.
Fortunately, the processes of the NDDC have witnessed a significant transformation with the institution of a forensic audit of its activities. According to Interim Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of the NDDC, Effiong Aqua, some erring contractors who failed to execute projects after receiving mobilization fees were beginning to return to site, obviously to avoid prosecution.
We are seeing people rushing to go and complete projects which people were paid mobilization. Some of them collected mobilization. Those that did shabby jobs in time past, they have gone back to those sites. On their own, they are working, and you are seeing a whole lot of improvement. Outrightly, at the end of the day, those that are known to have diverted the money, they have no option than to refund the money for the development of the Niger Delta.
Part 3 of the NDDC Establishment Act makes provision for an advisory committee comprising governors of 9 states in the Niger Delta and 2 persons to be nominated by the president. The committee is charged with the responsibility of advising the governing board of the NDDC and monitoring its activities to ensure compliance with set rules and regulations. Moreover, the intention of the NDDC Act in making provision for an advisory committee is to foster collaborative efforts between the Commission and member states to harmonize development projects and avoid their duplication for the benefit of the entire Niger Delta region. For reasons adduced to political considerations, the NDDC Advisory Board went into oblivion for many years, a situation that compromised proper monitoring of NDDC projects and efficient service delivery by the Commission. Rising to the occasion, President Buhari on the 10th of March 2020 constituted an advisory committee of the NDDC as part of his agenda to introduce sweeping reforms in the NDDC.
Our decision to inaugurate this committee ahead of the constitution of the board is to enable us to develop insights into the affairs of the Commission, which will properly guide the board when constituted once the forensic audit exercise on the Commission is concluded. I look forward to seeing positive changes in the affairs of the Commission as well as the ground in the Niger Delta region.
We are very appreciative that today we've been called upon as governors with two of Mr. President's nominees, two honorable ministers, to be inaugurated today as the Advisory Committee of the Niger Delta Development Commission. There is no doubt that the Advisory Committee has quite a lot of role to play. We are supposed to advise the board and also help to monitor the activities of the Commission to be sure that they are working in line with the set objectives of the federal government and in the best interest of our people in the Niger Delta.
Consistent with President Buhari's laudable plan for the NDDC and the Niger Delta, incumbent Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, AKUGHA, has held a series of meetings with state governors and key stakeholders in the region to get their contributions in the process of reinventing the region's flagship intervention agency. On one of such occasions, during a courtesy visit to Governor Nyesom Wike, the Rivers State Chief Executive had lauded Mr. Akwa's initiative as a bold step taken to reposition the NDDC.
We believe that NDDC can do more in terms of deliverables for the people of Rivers State, people of Niger Delta, through a robust relationship and partnership with your government, and that is why we are here today. We would love Your Excellency to identify projects that NDDC can partner with Rivers State government for the benefit of Rivers people. We don't want to be going left while the government is going right. We don't want to be doing things outside the wish of the government of the region.
When you are firm and you are doing the right thing, your conscience will tell you, I've done the right thing. So the way you have started, if you continue this way, the governors of the Niger Delta will support you.
The NDDC, under the leadership of AKUGHA, is undoubtedly in a process of transiting from what is generally viewed as an ugly past to an assured future that provides vistas of hope for disenchanted and restive communities in the Niger Delta. In the month of May 2021, the NDDC, under the leadership of AKUGHA, flagged off the donation of and distribution of essential science books and equipment to 46 selected schools across the Niger Delta in Warri, Delta State. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony, AKUGHA noted that the initiative was conceived to promote science education as a catalyst for innovation to facilitate development in the Niger Delta.
Scientific knowledge and technical expertise promote the wealth of nations. This is the way science allows the expansion of technology, which promotes economic development. In the Niger Delta, the main economic activities central to its development, such as oil, gas, and agri, are energized and propelled by science and technology. They are the key that turns the ignition of sustainable development, which societies will move in that direction. This is the core of our mandate. As an interventionist agency, it is the mission of NDDC to facilitate the rapid, even and sustainable development of Niger Delta.
This act of generosity displayed by the Commission towards the education of our children in our schools in the various science subjects would reinforce the human capital development at the post-primary school level. It will enhance the teaching and learning processes and undoubtedly stimulate students' interest in science subjects. May I assure you, sir, and the members of your team, that the science equipment donated to schools in Delta State will be used for the purpose they are meant for.
In furtherance of its deliberate policy to promote human capacity development in the Niger Delta, the NDDC, under the leadership of AKUGHA, recently facilitated the graduation of 200 youths trained in diverse aspects of information communication technology. The youths had completed their training some 2 years back but could neither graduate nor obtain their certificates as the training consultants were being owed. The NDDC helmsman decided to bring the program to its logical conclusion in view of its primacy to the mission and vision of the Commission.
The Commission is assuming its statutory and mandatory role in helping to spearhead this revolution in the Niger Delta. That was why I quickly took on the challenge and discharged our obligations on this program, so that these youths, the hope of the Niger Delta of tomorrow, could earn their certificates and begin to add value they will towards improving themselves and their families and towards the sustainable development of the Niger Delta region.
Today I'm participating on this graduation ceremony. I think it's a plus to the interim administration and the East management that has come to bring this program today to a logical conclusion. I'm very happy about that.
We sincerely appreciate this ample opportunity, and we wish to assure you that the vision of the Niger Delta Development Commission to develop and transform the Niger Delta region in infrastructural and human capital development is sustained.
While the NDDC has succeeded where its predecessors like the NDDB and PANDEF failed in time past, it may not have fulfilled the expectations of long-suffering communities in the Niger Delta, which was why President Buhari stirred the wheels of change in the Commission some 3 years ago. With verifiable signs of a paradigm shift already taking shape in the course of sweeping reforms in the NDDC, the expectation is that it will no longer be business as usual at the end of its current transition stage that will culminate in the appointment and inauguration of a new governing board to pilot its affairs.
Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, making a difference.
Inside the Niger Delta,